cold steel Formax Scout. Go through some dimensions here. So we got an overall length of 10 inches, blade thickness of 0.18 of an inch. Kind of a thick sucker. Blade length of 4 inches. Handle length of 6. The handle material is Grivex or Grivery or FRN, some kind of plastic polymer. Good stuff. Weight of 10.2 ounces. Kind of a heavy sucker. Made in Taiwan. OS 10A steel. Don't know if I mentioned that yet. Good steel, especially by cold steel. $80, give or take, online. Actually, I just looked up Blade HQ is $80, so there you go. Next is the Spyderco Military in 4V, made in USA. So this bad boy is 9.5 inches overall. Blade length of 4 inches. Blade thickness of 0.16. Yeah, whatever. S30V. No, CPM 4V. Handle length of 5.5. G10, USA, 252 MF dollars. Now, I didn't really know the going rate these days on this because I got this eBay. It's kind of a I don't know, limited edition sprint run or something. I like the red G10 and then 4V. I was like, yeah, we'll give that a go. So I was able to pick it up. It was less than $252. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but I think it was well south of that. Brand new in the box. $252 motherfucking dollars on Blade HQ right now. So I don't know if that's like the going rate everywhere you look, but that is amazing because I bought my other Spyderco Military G10. I got a camo one with black blade. It was $175, I believe, back in 2015. And I realized that was a while ago. But $175 then to $252 now for the same exact knife. That's $80. Well, $75. That's pretty amazing. That's quite the inflation. But anyway, this is a great knife. I do like these knives. You get a 4-inch blade. They're not too thick. Pretty decent slicing geometry. I mean, I consider it, for the most part, excellent. Relatively thin handle. I don't think I pulled up that dimension. I think it's probably 4/10 of an inch, somewhere in there. 4/10 to 5 to a half inch. This one, much thicker. I think it's probably 6/10, 6,500, 7/10 of an inch. Well, let's just talk about this one. So I think everybody pretty much knows all about these. $80 compared to $252. So theoretically, you don't get as good of steel. I don't know. OS 10A as done by cold steel is pretty good, I found. I've used this quite a bit this spring and summer. I've been working out pretty much nonstop the last 2 months. But before that, I was able to do some camping and whatnot, my usual. And then before that, I was working too. My fire season pretty much started in May. Early May this year, and then Kind of hit a lull there in June, and then picked back up in July, and pretty much been going nonstop since. Pretty mellow summer though, temperature-wise, down here in Northern California. Notice I said down here in Northern California. That's because I'm from north, and I think it's hotter up that way than it is down here, so I ain't complaining. Today was pretty hot though. I think it was high 90s. Let's see here. So yeah, the 4MAX Scout. So I've done a pretty good amount of whittling with this thing. The ergonomics are great. It's got a big handle. I mean, if your regular grip, like hammer grip, it's pretty darn comfortable. I haven't really developed any hot spots using it. Choked up, the choil, good. Out of that 4-inch blade, you're pretty much getting pretty much that whole cutting length, whereas on the military, you do lose a little bit. Maybe 1/3 of an inch you do lose. No sharpening choil on either. That's okay with me. I'm not going to complain about that. You'll notice really thick liners and kind of a frame this thing has. Usual triad lock, a good pocket clip that works really well. I have another knife in my pocket right now, but this thing works great. This is what I'm currently carrying. I'll have to do a video on this bad boy. It's a beauty. The old Osborne Proxy. Benchmade, baby. USA made all the way. That's another thing. So obviously the Spyderco is made in the USA. Maybe that has partly to do with the price of it. So I'd rather pay it extra, whatever that is. God, $75, so that's quite a bit over, considering you can get this one for $80. And I am telling you, if you have never picked one of these up, I mean, it is Grivery or FRN, but it is kind of like how Spyderco does it. It's kind of, I don't know, almost a rubbery texture. It's kind of softer feeling. Whereas Benchmade's Grivery just seems a little harder. But anyway, yeah, I got the old classic here for a little comparison. You can see how big ass this knife is. That military is not a small knife either. Stretch. I'll do a video on the stretch. I like this. It's a good knife. It's a good knife. Good knife. As far as like everyday carry, I did carry this every day there. Kind of in, I don't know, whenever I had days off, April, May. I think I got this in April. So April, May, June. Carried it quite a bit. It carries pretty well for how big it is. And it's a big knife. But for how big of a knife it does carry well. Very ergonomic. 10.5 ounces or so, whatever that weight was. 10.2 ounces. Yeah, I mean, that's heavy. Yeah, that's well over half a pound. It's like 1.25 pounds. And then these guys get a lot of cutting performance out of these. I think it's plenty strong for hard use. Never had any issues with any, because I also have a couple titanium militaries. So I've used them, especially that camo G10 one I've got. This one I just got here about a month ago, and I don't think I've really used it. I've carried it, but I haven't used it. But all the other ones that I have, that I do own, that I have used, it's a good knife. You know, I think it's a classic. Definitely worth having one in your collection, or having one for any kind of hunting, fishing. Probably a little big for a lot of people. Probably don't want to carry that around, especially this one. This is not a hunting knife, although you could use it as one, but I mean, it's a pretty thick blade. It's basically just a hard use outdoors folder that I just wanted to check out, and I have complete respect and appreciation for it, to be honest. I mean, for how big of a knife that is. I mean, the other big, large, hard to use knife I carry is this, the Ergonomics. This thing is awesome. I think generally for me, that's a perfect knife right there. Perfect outdoors field knife. I can't remember what the blade thickness is. I got a bug in my ear, but get out of here. I think it's about the same as that military, but really good cutting geometry. Actually, better cutting geometry than that military, surprising enough. And I've used this a lot I've whittled some bows down from staves. Good ergos for the most part. It's not perfect. Like this will rub you. You have to adjust your grip a little bit when you're yarding on stuff, like, for a couple hours if you're carving down, well, just as an example, a bow out of I don't know, it wasn't pine. What did I have? Some kind of might have been a little fir tree. Not the best, but I was just practicing. And I whittled that thing all the way down into a bow. And yeah, I got a little, never any blisters or hot spots, but my hand got a little tired, so I had to adjust the grip a little bit, but no problem. I think mostly is from kind of this stuff here and jumping on the back and up into here. I think probably this is where it was coming from. I can't quite remember. You don't really get that on this. And I haven't done anything with this knife as extensively as that one. This one's seen a lot of carry, honestly, and a lot of use. This one definitely not as much, but a fair amount there for a few months. And I'll have to test that out a little bit more, figure that out. But still, great action. I mean, just a nice example of a really well-built knife. See if I can get this sucker to focus. I mean, perfect centering. Kind of looks funny in the camera, but it is honestly perfectly centered. Like I said, it's got a good pocket clip. That's a good improvement. Of course, the SR1 has that same clip, I think. But this has got way better cutting geometry than that SR1. So, very nice. This one probably has better cutting geometry than the Formax Scout, but it's not going to be as ergonomic for hard cutting, high torque cutting as that guy is, or for that matter, this. So I guess out of all three of them, that's probably the better knife. But it's not as big as this one. This one's probably honestly a little bit ergonomic, probably even for more hard use. Though this one's tough enough, and honestly, that one's tough enough, I think, for the most part. Then, of course, you got some other little, kind of like your more normal size knife, which this is great too. So if you want a smaller one, go for the Griptilian Great Ergos, 3.5 inch-ish blade, a little smaller, but not that big of, still better cutting on there. Anyway, I think that's a pretty fair balance of everything on that. But yeah, Formax Scout, impressive for $80. Sure, it's a little less, I think. S35 VN for the regular Formax, G10. But as far as like non-G10 goes, this ain't bad. I mean, it's comfortable. It's got some grip to it. I know their FRN is tough. I know G10 is tough too. Good coating. Not the same coating they put on the Recon ones, which is the DLC. I don't know what this is. This might be DLC. It's just a little bit more of a matte finish to it. But no thin spots on it yet, I don't think. No. All right, cool. That's all I got for that. Formax Scout versus Spyderco Military versus Ergonomics. Okay. USA made. Not made in China. That's a benefit. But it's definitely made in USA. Well, good construction, good design. Kind of a classic here. So pick your poison. Better hunting knife, better hard use. I guess bushcraft knife, though I'm not going to baton or anything with this. I got other knives for that. But, all right, that's all I got. Got any questions or anything you want to say? go ahead and hit up in the comments. Have a good one.